Well, good morning, everybody. This is DW right here, coming to you live, and we're in Morrison, Colorado. And I'm telling you, Tom Mower Sr. and Thomas Jr., they brought the heat. They dropped the bomb on us this week. Tom launched this product with such certainty and clarity. The Stem-O-lytics is the official name for those of you that haven't caught up to find out exactly what the name was. They kept that under wraps pretty good until it was time to launch it. And the product should be, we'll get an exact time when it should be ready to ship this week in order. We're thinking somewhere between now and Thursday, so just be patient. There's a lot of stuff that goes into, if you knew all the steps, when Tom Jr. came one time, he went through, I think there was like 28 steps you got to go to in order to launch a product, and that's even after the product has been researched and developed. And so, to do something like this on this grandiose of a level for multiple countries, it's a big deal, guys. And so we just want to welcome you to you. We're talking about what's your story today and why Sisel for you. I tell you why Sisel for me. And it comes back to the vision, the integrity of Tom Mower Sr. And that's what really got my attention. And so, that was a huge deal for us. And for him to come out to this weekend and begin to talk about what this product does, it was absolutely amazing. So there's no way to explain it like what he can, but I'm going to tell you one thing that I caught is that you only have so many stem cells, and I don't remember the exact number, where there's 220 or 225 stem cells right in there. And I probably got a little extra because I need extra. But with that said, Tom's going to knock me out for that one. And but with that said, your stem cells, for whatever reasons, there's a lot of reasons, because toxicity and eating pretty junky and just doing simple things like, not sleeping proper and exercising proper and drink a lot of water. A lot of times they're getting wore out at ages that they're not supposed to. Our DNA is designed for us to live to be 150. We shouldn't slow down until we get to 120. And yet, when your stem cells back off and they start going dormant, that's almost like they're dead. But you look at them like a grain of wheat that's in the ground. It's dormant until it comes alive. Well, if you don't do some things to help it come alive, it's going to stay dormant. If wheat never got any rain, never got any water in the whole bit. So this new Stem-O-lytics product comes in there and it wakens up and shakes off all the toxic junk around the dormant stem cell. And then, so you take this product one day, then the next day you're not recovering from the effects of it, because it's not like you're going to get sick or something, but what you're doing is allowing your body to catch up and extract the detoxive stuff that comes off the stem cells. So it's like Tom explained it like this, and man, his illustration was so phenomenal. It's like a bomb goes through your body and it just blows and rattles all this toxic junk to the surface. Well, then you double up on Body Shield and Fucoidan the next day, so you can help extract it, what it's bombed up out of your body, extract it out, and then take it again and continue that process. And at some point, and everyone's going to be different, but your stem cell is going to come alive again. It's going to move from being dormant. Some of the benefits, it has the potential to help your body fight aging and extend your lifespan. It has the potential to help your body with some of the challenges that high sugar levels or sensitive sugars or diabetes and the complications are. It has the potential to help your body fight, it's potential, anti-cancer potential. Help your body to fight off cancer. Your body's designed to do that anyway. This comes in there. Come on. If you had a car and it had 220 cylinders in it and you're only running on 80, how good would that vehicle be? So stem cells are like cylinders. They feed your body more cells so that they can operate. This product has potential to drastically make an impact on the brain, the ability to remember and to learn. And I'm anxious to see what's going to happen there. I might actually start learning something after taking this thing. So, it goes on and on. It's like 8 products in one. Well, right now, and we're going to feature them this week again, but to help us launch this product, help us talk about it a little bit, to bring you up to speed on what you might have missed, Tom Mower Sr. is with us right now. Just gave me the thumbs up on sharing with you a little bit. Tom, you touched our hearts, our brains. We came out of there so excited. We probably had the biggest ordering day ever at an event. The biggest day of how much volume we placed. And the numbers have yet to be totaled up, but Thomas Jr. will give us those numbers later unless you already have them. But we ordered more products were ordered from this event than ever before. Your team is on fire, Tom. Our rear is in gear, and thank you for bringing this product. But good morning. Thanks for being with us this last weekend and this morning. And hey, Tom, welcome to the call, buddy.
Well, thanks, and good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to have gone to the Masters and see all the enthusiastic people that were there. And DW is right. We created such momentum, and the distributor force is really in momentum. You can see that from the ordering. Thomas, my grandson, and I took back the orders that had been made, and we estimate, I have to be totaled up, but for the number we think's there, it should be somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000 worth of orders, and that's a lot for one conference to come out of. Probably the most we've ever had, of course. Now to flip over to Stem-O-lytics, let me give you a briefing from the bottom up, and I won't be too extensive on it. But you have 220 different types of stem cells. Now within each of these types, of course, there are many stem cells because they have to produce the replacement cells in your body that wear out. So stem cells is like chickens that just keeps laying eggs. You can think of it like that. Well, you have some cells that, like the skin, in a younger person can be gone in 30 days, an older person 120 days. And that's gone, so they have to be replaced. And so stem cells, there's lots of stem cells in that categories that make skin. Now, it may take several types of stem cells in a system to really do everything it needs. So, for instance, the brain has 67 different varieties of stem cells, all to make all the different tissues and components and everything. So of the 220, it has, dang near a third of them that are just in the brain itself because of everything that needs to be done. Now, here's what happens. If you can think of it in this context, at one time when you were born, you were a stem cell. Or before you were born, at conception, you were a stem cell. Sperm and egg comes together as one cell. That's a stem cell. It begins to duplicate. And by the time you're born, you have somewhere around 8 to 10 trillion cells that have been produced by the stem cell. But remember, the majority of the cells are replaceable ones because they wear out. By the time you're an adult, you have about 40 trillion cells in your body. Stem cells keep refreshing the ones that wear out, they wear out everywhere, in the eyes, in the heart. Some of them, like the heart, they last a long time, maybe 3 years or so. But all of these cells have to be replaced at a certain time. They wear out due to just excessive use and oxidation and things of that nature. So now what happens with a stem cell, it lays a lot of eggs, so to speak. They're not eggs, but they create a lot of replacement cells. And those replacement cells take a great deal of nutrition in your body to make them happen, because your body is probably maybe 1% stem cells, 99% replacement. Maybe that's even, the ratio could be less than that, because stem cells produce so many different cells. But the stem cells also have a lifetime. because producing that many cells has taken a lot of oxygen, a lot of nutrition, and they start degenerating and decaying. And so they get to a certain point from birth on. Actually, you have stem cells that are in degrees of decline, known as senescence. And so senescence means a stem cell's in decline. But it will decline to the point of where it will become dormant. Then it's called senescent stem cells. So this new science we're bringing out, and I'm not trying to confuse you with all the tech talk, but it's called Senolytics. Senolytics is the removal of the dormant stem cell. Not just the toxins, but the removal of it. Because what happens when a stem cell becomes dormant, it exudes a lot of toxins. And since it's in different parts of your body, those toxins go out and they have a great effect on the rest of your cells and stem cells within the area. And they are the major cause of most diseases, including cancer and heart attacks and things like that. So they do a lot of harm. But they're exuding the toxins because we think they're trying to call attention to the immune system, which is through its natural process, comes in and will kill that stem cell and remove it. That process of killing the stem cell is called apoptosis. And you can read these things if you want to look in some of the publications they put out or on Facebook. But anyway, with my postings. So anyway, apoptosis is the mechanism that removes dormant stem cells. It's also the same method that reduces cancer cells too. However, here's the difference. We're only concentrating on removing stem cells. And so don't talk to anyone about removing cancer cells because that's a bridge too far, so to speak, a step too far. It'll get you in a whale of a lot of trouble with that kind of thing. The one thing about it is we can't necessarily make a claim on our product for doing anything because even though the individual products are, and there are 8 different senolytic agents within our product Stem-O-lytic, so there's 8 different senolytic agents in there to support the body, this is the right way to say it, as support the body in apoptosis of dormant stem cells. And if you think of it that right, if you can think of it in terms, if it's a little hard for you to understand, is like calcium supports bones and calcium supports teeth and things of that nature. Protein supports muscle. Okay, this supports the apoptosis of dormant stem cells. So if you have enough of these materials, particularly, and it's been found that the immune system can operate much more efficiently. So what happens is, this puts it kind of in perspective. Let's say you're 20 years old, which you're 18 is about the peak, then you start down, a decline, and your stem cells start falling off in activity to where you get down at you're 40 years old and you're about 60% of your stem cells are dormant. Well, they're dormant from the sake of producing new cells, but they're not dormant and being toxic, and they're greatly accelerating your aging. So that's why you see shifts in a decade that are tremendous. 20 to 30, not so much. 30 to 40, a lot more. 40 to 50, a great deal. And it goes on and on. So when you get in your 70s, you're down to about between 2 and 5% activity in stem cells. Well, they're all in senescence too, so that it's activity. It's not full activity. So that's the idea that we've come in with this, is you have this, I showed the illustration of beds of flowers that are there with all blossoms on and everything, and then they imagine they start falling off, and there's less and less and less and less. Well, that's kind of the way it is in your body with senescent stem cells. So what comes along is this process. I was going to call the product the bomb that I had, particularly out of Japan. We had a lot of blowback on you calling it that. So anyway, Stem-O-lytic is the name I've come up with on it. But with that, what happens, it goes into and supports the immune system with ingredients that support apoptosis. That's right. That's getting a little technical, and you can put it in your own terms. But it just supports the body to come in and to have those cells create cellular suicide. That's what apoptosis is. They self-destruct. So not just the toxins are removed, the whole stem cell is killed off. When that happens, there's a lot of decay and rubble around. So the immune system comes in after that, and through things like macrophages, they gobble it up and get rid of it. And so that's why with this product, you take it every other day. 1 day to bomb, 1 day to remove. 1 day to bomb, 1 day to remove. And that's the right way of doing it. You don't want to take it every day. Well, there could be too much debris for what's going on. Now, it's going to go after your stem cells in the same manner of which you would eat an elephant, one bite at a time. So you can't eat the whole elephant. It's not going to work on all of them. But as you use it, you'll be removing more and more of them. But when they're removed, that toxin, that toxic environment they put out, of course, is gone. But guess what? Here's the real, almost miracle-like virtue in this, that when a stem cell is removed, it comes from a polyp or like compound or structure, and that will produce a new young stem cell to replace the old dormant toxic stem cell. So what happens, you start to repopulate this field that might be mostly, if you're over 40, say 60% of your stem cells are dormant, senescent. So now you start removing some of those, or the body does, with you supporting the natural processes, and then you get to 50, who knows where you're going to be? You might be down to 50%, or you might be down to 40% dormant stem cells. And that's the idea of it. It works on it fairly fast, but gradually, and removing them and replacing with young stem cells. So if it replaces with the young stem cells, what do? Young stem cells produce lots of new replacement cells. And so as you get older, because of stem cell decline, you lose muscle tone, size, bones get thinner, all of those things. Dementia is a big factor and things of that nature. Heart attack sets in, especially because of all the toxins that are there. And suddenly you've got young stem cells now producing lots more cells. And instead of being in a decline, you can be, it's almost like the Lazarus technique, where you raise them, they're not dead, but you raise them from get rid of them from dormancy, and it grows a new one. Just like with a rose, if you have a beautiful rose, and when the petals fall off, if you snip the bulb, it'll grow a new rose. And it's that same type of principle that's going on here. So you can start to repopulate your dormant toxic stem cells with young, vibrant stem cells. And what happens to you? It doesn't matter where your state of decline is. If you're using this program, which consists of, our program is HVIL, for working with stem cells that are active and in senescence, in decline, but to bring those biological factors back to where it's 20, you're at your 20s again, somewhere in that range. And then TSX, which is the tips on the chromosomes that regulate how fast duplication rate of the stem cell can be, and they wear out too. So we have TSX to rebuild those so it can keep operating at the maximum rate. And then you have this field of dormancy that's causing so much harm to the body, and you can start bombing it and replacing it with younger stem cells, and you have no choice, in my opinion. You're going to grow younger. You're going to get healthier. You're going to live, you have the potential to live much longer at a much younger age. And that's the thing we have together with this, with the Immortality Pack. So we've done two things for you with it. One of it is we've got a pack. It's called the Road to Immortality. Now, this isn't going to make you immortal, but it's going to put you, we believe, way down that road, going lickety-spit instead of wearing out and pulling off the side of the road. With this, you'll be flying down the road to immortality because you have the age pill, you have TSX, and you have Stem-O-lytics. So those are the three important ones for doing this. But to make it even more appealing, to you. We've thrown it in where there's a pack that if you purchase the pack, which also includes an H2 stick, because hydrogen is really one of the most key principles to energy in the body and many other things, so you can flood your cells with it, which it really needs all your life. It needs it because hydrogen does so much. And if we started telling you, maybe later on we'll campaign about what hydrogen does, but it is stunning the things they're just finding out. This is such new science, just like Stem-O-lytics is new science, and the H-pill is new science, and TSX is new science. In fact, those three all had Nobel Prize winners that were in on the discoveries of how the mechanism worked, and that's only within the last few years. That's how new this is. So we throw the hydrogen H2 sticks in with it, and we give you a substantial discount, which I think cuts the price of the hydrogen sticks in half or more that you get from buying that. So you can buy the three, or you can buy the pack and get a substantial discount off it. So you can be flying high. And this is the kind of thing you'd want to order every month for the rest of your life. Because after all, how do you want your life to go? Down to where you become degenerate, declining, you have those serious health issues that come up? Of course not. But if you don't do anything about it, it's going to do that. So here you have an opportunity to support the body to do something about it in a significant way in the most exciting science. And that's why I said Stem-O-lytics now is the greatest discovery in the history of human health. And NAD, that's like our H-pill supports to produce, is the second greatest. I've said it was the greatest. It was, but there's the new number one, and that's Stem-O-lytics, but they work on both ends of the scale. One on active but declining stem cells, the H-pill, the other one on dormant toxic ones, and that's Stem-O-lytics, and TSX keeps them operating at a maximum rate as they are duplicating so that you can grow younger as you live longer. That's our hypothesis on it. So it's an exciting time for these things, and you need to remember this. Don't ever say it cures cancer or can affect cancer cells. Don't even make that part of your equation. That's going to get you in real serious trouble with that one, because cancer is such a big business with it. And you don't want to have people that have cancer and they have claims that, you said it would do this, and then forget all that. Let's work on the senescent stem cells, because they're saying things. I just published a report this week where they're doing a study in England, and they're doing it on the heart, and they think Stem-O-lytics can support growing a younger heart again, the same heart, but by the heart has so much activity going on with it that those stem cells really get worn out. And of course, as you get older, and then the toxins from around them are making it more and more, so the heart becomes more vulnerable to heart attack or disease, and it's the number one killer anyway with it. And so what they're thinking, they think they can take that and almost resurrect it to a new heart. No, not a new heart, but a younger heart. The same heart, but has grown younger, stronger, and lasts longer. All of those things with that. They're also saying that scenario should work anywhere in the body, in the brain. And what they think it may do in supporting the brain in its fight against dementia or Alzheimer's is quite shocking if it comes true. Individual ingredients have shown things, but you got to remember our formulation is based up on 8 well-proven senolytic agents. But when you put them together, the entire formula hasn't been tested, and the FDA says if you're going to make claims on anything, you're going to have to go through the testing process. Well, that's about 13 years on average, and depending on the types of compound, it costs at least $1 billion and can go $2 billion or more on it. Well, we don't have 13 years to wait. We don't want to, and we haven't got that kind of money to throw into it to do that. But here's what we have. We can show you the ingredients, and you can look up what they've done, and we'll provide some of that so you can see studies on them. And then your claim to it is it supports the body's natural processes to take stem cells that have become dormant and toxic to go through apoptosis, where they commit cellular suicide, triggered by the immune system, which cleans them up. So we're supporting immunity too with this. Or you can go back to the H-pill. Stem cells are in decline. They're wearing out, just like your car engine does as you get 100,000, 200,000 miles on it. But with the H-pill, while they're still there, they can be, the processes can be supported so that it can clean up itself, it can regenerate and repair itself, which it's doing anyway. We just put it on an accelerated schedule. So that's how it works. I come in, that's quite a bit to say for that period of time, and I'm not going to take much longer to discuss it with you. But that's the principle of it. So if you go on those three products, H-pill, TSX, Stem-O-lytics, I don't know what your life is going to be, but I can't think of anything but much better and much longer and much younger. And the choice, if you choose not to, is going to be just the opposite, in my opinion. And so, as a consequence, we've got this here for you. And if you want to throw the power of the sun on top of it, we got a special deal where you can get the H2 stick with it if you order the pack. Every month, I would say. You should do that. And you will be on the road to immortality and flying it down. We may not reach immortality, but I think we can see it from where we're at. So that's my fill-in message for today. I tell you what, at the Masters event, it was wild. That people were so tremendously excited. It's the highest energy I think I've seen in a meeting here, at least with Sisel, in our history. So we're on the right track. This is going to explode us. If you get out, remember, this thing they're testing it in major institutions, and I can't mention the institutions because they're trying to patent it to make it a drug, find a synthetic molecule. So we can't name the institutions, but the biggest institution in the world are testing it. And they're testing individual ingredients. We've taken those same individual ingredients because they're testing how they form in nature, and we have got them. We've got them in the maximum concentrations that they're using in the research, and in some cases even surpassing that because of things that I have learned and I think should be added to the equation to make it even better. So here we got a product that is just unreal, coupled with the H-pill, which is unreal, and TSX, and yet they are reality, but they're only a few years old in technology, and some haven't really hit the market, or a little bit. But with ours, we do it so well, so complete, so thoroughly, so concentrated, and so diverse that we believe we can cover most of the broad spectrum. One size does not fit all, so one senolytic agent will not get all the types of stem cells. So I looked at those and tried to figure it out the best that I could, and I think I have an array of senolytic agents, 8 of them in there, that will cover most, if not all, of the dormant senescent stem cells that are within our body. So that's my message for today. I'll turn the time back to DW and tell you, get your rear in gear. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. This is your moment in time. If you don't take advantage of this, you have missed the big one of all time. Back to you, DW.
You bet, Tom. Absolutely, love having you on. So this product, when they get it, they're going to start taking it. And is it something that we're looking at, 90 days, or everybody's body's different, but will people start feeling some difference or noticing some things? I get that question a lot, and I know you do too, and it's kind of a irritating question, but then yet it's really valid if you're the person that's thrown out a few bucks and then so what's kind of, and I know you're on it, so what can we kind of look for to see?
Here's what studies show on the individual ingredients. We can't say it happens for the formula, but we use those ingredients. What happened when people can start on, you're not going to feel anything for a while because you have so many dormant senescent stem cells. So to think you're going to start on in the first month, you're going to, oh, wow, it's working. There's a ratio. There's massive numbers of dormant stem cells in your body. exuding all these toxins, and you got to take them a bite at a time. So you start doing it. So at about the third to fourth month, people start feeling a noticeable improvement in their health, their energy, how they feel. That will continue onward. I don't know for how long, because this is such new science, neither do the researchers that are researching these molecules. But that should continue on throughout all of your life. I mean, you'll get a certain point where you'll be optimal, but you don't want stem cells going senescent, because the toxins damage and kill so many other cells and disease. So why have any, or as close to getting rid of all of them as possible? And that's the potential with what we have in the product. So look at something between 3 and 4 months, you should see some visible change. The longer you go, the more you'll see.
Absolutely perfect. And so I just want people to understand, this is, you know, when you're talking about taking a dormant and even a toxic stem cell and putting your body in a position to help it restore that's not a switch that you flip today and the light's on. It's kind of like if you went to a big gymnasium and you flipped a switch and that light comes on slowly. Some of those lights can take up to an hour to come on. And so every minute would be like a week in relationship to what we're doing here. So we're going to ask you to, just operate in faith on what's happening with the ingredients. The ingredients and the research on each ingredient is off the charts crazy, and your body's different than someone else's. And when that stem cell that's dormant comes alive, it's when it comes alive. But I will tell you this right now, doing what you're doing and doing nothing about it is not going to get it to come alive. So we're giving yourself a shot to have your body awaken up its stem cell to see some things happen. That's kind of what we're looking at here. What a phenomenal weekend we had with the generational Mowers, and it was so much fun. Laura Bacchini was she was the featured speaker, and just got up there and knocked one home run after another and did so good. Laura, we loved hearing from you and seeing you. We didn't get to hang out as much. That was kind of a bummer, but that's the way that is. It's a work weekend for us versus a hangout weekend. But however, Laura, thank you so much for all that you gave the team, not just at the event, but before it and after, and all that you're doing. And so we'll close out with Laura Bacchini, and she'll bring on Dominic. But I mean, I've got probably. Go ahead.
1 second, DW. I forgot to tell you, it'll be released for sale on Thursday.
Okay. We kind of got word about that and wasn't 100% sure. So people can call in Thursday, and you can start getting your product. And I'm not sure if the packets will be ready then as well. We'll find that out.
They will.
Okay, packets ready then and well as well. Laura Bacchini, how much fun was it to be the featured speaker? You did so awesome. And to get to hang out with Tom and Junior and even the rest of us guys around there. We got to hang out a little bit. We had a fun dinner Saturday night, celebration of the weekend, and man, we laughed so hard. And you get Anthony and Dominic in any room, and you will be laughing. And then you throw Liana in the mix. Lord have mercy, what takes place. She's such a sweetheart. But hey, Laura, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. What an amazing weekend. The ripple effect is still happening. Super excited to have the opportunity to share with everybody while we were there. And you're right, the only thing that we wish we had was more time with each other. But it was an absolute positive whirlwind of activity, of speakers, of energy, of excitement from the minute we landed on Thursday night until we left on Sunday morning. But the same was for everyone in the lobby, in the social on the Friday evening, but just so much. But to be able to launch a new product that's going to make history, something that's absolutely positively historical, but it will change the dynamics of Sisel as we know it, I believe, and combine that with what the products that Tom has shared with us that go alongside of it. And I know we can't call it the bomb, but we'll all still be calling it that, because that's exactly what it's going to do inside our body, but also what it's going to do to all our business. We're super excited. It couldn't get any better. And if you want to hear more about it live and in person, you feel like you missed out on something, just make sure you get your ticket to Mile Mountain before March 17th to get a free CBD 1500 for doing that. But then you can come and hear Tom live and in person. And it's great to the phone, but when you see him live and in person, it just, everything comes to life. So I was really excited. We are going to go right now to Oceanside, California. Dominic Puccini, you helped MC the event. You had a lot of fun. You were able to introduce each of the speakers, including Tom and Tom. But what an incredible event, and you did such a great job. Thanks for all that you did. Welcome to the call, Dominic Puccini.
The master of ceremonies, Dominic Puccini, the host of the weekend. Guys, I'm telling you, if you missed it, you missed a lot of fun. He brought the fun factor.
Thank you, Dee. I appreciate that. And I wish I could say that it was a humbling experience, but it's really kind of the exact opposite. It's very empowering, and it's very exciting to be in front of the room. If at any point in time it's something you're interested in, I highly encourage that you do it. It's definitely stepping outside of the comfort zone, and it is like putting a very fast-moving puzzle together, trying to piece everything from one speaker to the next. But it was an incredible experience for me. I'm grateful to participate with the team in any way I can, but I love doing the MC stuff. That is super fun. It was incredible. We heard from so many amazing people. But before I get to it, Sisel, today is 749 will be the reference code, and thank you, Tom. You have extraordinary gifts, and we're very grateful that you're sharing them in the way that you do. Because you had and still have options as far as what you could do with them, but you still put all of your time, effort, and energy into Sisel, and we do appreciate that. The Winter Masters 2020 was an incredible event, and it is now part of our story. If you are not there, I do suggest get on the phone with someone that was and get caught up. It won't replace the full effect of being there, but hopefully you can catch some of that residual energy, because a big part of the story, the big part of our personal growth and our business growth in this business is going to be building from event to event. That's our mindset and our business and all of the tools that we get to do it. This was an incredible event. We just heard from Tom about the new product and an estimation of our product sales. We had so many people there. The room was packed. The two things about the product and the estimated product sales and all of the training we got from corporate wasn't the only amazing part, but we had a record number of people. The trainings were amazing. The testimonials were amazing. The weekend started off really amazing. Now, I'm saying amazing a lot because really, what other word can you substitute for amazing? I think it's kind of the only fitting word. But we had the chance to hear from some real American heroes, and after hearing from Adam and Sean, it confirms that I've never had a bad day in my life. I got nothing to complain about. But at the same time, it also confirmed how important mindset is. His situation was extreme, and I don't have time to get into it now, but if mindset can get you through that, mindset can get you through anything. And last thing I'll say is you can't run an event like this on the efforts of one person. What really matters is that leadership is able to gather around amazing individuals and then get the best out of each of them. And I think that Team PA did that exceptionally well, whether it was the schedule and getting all of the speakers and the Toms and Laura and DW and Mary Zook and all of the testimonials that we heard from. It's incredible to get people together like that. So anyways, I've mentioned on this call that I do have a new quote of the day calendar that was given to me as a Christmas gift, and I think that it's only fitting that today's quote is that if you worry about who's going to get credit, you don't get much work done. And I think that this team exemplifies that, because although I don't just mean Team PA that organized the event, I just mean the community that we work with exemplifies that in the fact that although recognition is a huge part of this business, and it does feel incredible to be recognized, nobody ever wants the recognition for the work that they did, although people are doing incredible work through Sisel. So that was awesome. And then last thing that I'll leave you with is, I know I said that will be the last thing, but this will actually be the last thing. There are many ways of moving forward, but only one way of standing still. So get out there, meet the people, learn the lessons, say it loud, say it proud. Sisel's number one. Miss Helen, could we please unmute the call?